Hey everyone, I hope you had a great day. Today we are looking at some new malicious compliance stories. I hope you enjoy them. The first story is called Hit the Target. A good few years back, during college, I had an evening job doing data entry with a friend for a large local company. It wasn't particularly complicated, but we had stacks of handwritten notes by agents who were in a rush, often with quite aggressive clients. They weren't always the most intelligent people, so the notes were often quite difficult to decipher. We had to decipher them, shorten them into summaries with acronyms and enter this into a strange old terminal and choose the next action. I was on minimum wage and would work 4 days a week from 5 PM until 9 PM. There were dozens of full-time staff doing the same during the day, but they were behind. Our targets were 25 an hour, so 100 a night. I was working with my friend, and we had this grumpy girl as our manager. I think she had to do overtime to supervise us and didn't like it. Anyway, once I apparently cracked a couple too many jokes to my friend, and she complained to the guy who had hired me. If he had said to be a little more professional, fine, but he didn't. He said, "Stop talking, because you need to focus on hitting targets." I said, "I'm hitting targets." "I don't care. Focus on doing just what you are paid to do." Fine, I did. Because of how fast I could type at this point and an uncanny ability to decipher written nonsense quickly, I'd been hitting a minimum of 50 an hour before this chat, sometimes even up to 75 if the stacks were repetitive. After that moment, I hit 100 a night without fail. Occasionally slightly over if a stack was nearly finished. I did this for a week until the boss said I can do more and he raised my targets to 30 an hour. Which was still a lot lower than I was doing before, but was the maximum any of his full-time staff were targeted, so he couldn't go higher. I hit that for another few days, and luckily he saw the funny side and offered me full-time work whenever I could do it, once over the summer and Christmas, to help with their backlogs, which I gratefully accepted and stopped playing work to rule. The next story is called We Wanted to Make His Life a Little More Difficult. I used to work for a place that set up a stall outside of a touristy area. Every morning, I and one coworker would arrive by bus at 8:30 and begin setting up. The boss arrived a little before 9 with stuff to stock the stall. Now we still had leftover stuff from the day before that my coworker and I would have set out and usually sold a good chunk of already. So it wasn't like we were twiddling our thumbs for a half hour, and setting up just the stall took a few minutes as well. The boss decided one day that he was sick of paying us to start at 8:30 when he thought we weren't doing any work. So he said we were not to log any time before 9. The bus was an infrequent one that went only once an hour, so to be on time we still had to get there at 8:30. There was a little cafe nearby, and so my coworker and I would go there to grab breakfast and sit in front of where the stall usually went. The boss arrived closer to 8:45 the next day to see no stall set up and us just sitting there eating. He was visibly upset that we hadn't started working for free and asked why we weren't set up. He must have been really dumb, because we aren't paid to start until 9 wasn't something he had thought of. While he did all the work we would have done, he grumbled. By 9, he wasn't even done. He hadn't even unloaded the day's stuff from his truck. Most likely from all the time he wasted glaring at us, because it really didn't take that long. Now, I loved this job. My dad was actually the head boss and would have paid both of us the half-hour difference. But we just wanted to make this guy's life a little more difficult. What do you think about today's stories? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like the video, don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps the channel to grow. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content. The next story is called Sometimes It's Easier to Comply with a Stupid Decision. I'm a software developer. I write software. Our software testers test the software that I write. When they find a bug, they write a bug report and I fix the bug. Simple, right? Management likes to plan things, and that's fine. They like to measure productivity, which is also fine, provided the measurement makes sense. but they choose a measurement that doesn't make sense. They decided that during planning, developers need to estimate how many bugs there will be in our code. The measurement would be if the tester found significantly fewer bugs than the estimate, then they must not be testing effectively. If they found significantly more bugs than the estimate, then we must be doing a bad job writing code. You can probably see the flaw here. A software developer strives to write code without bugs. We don't often succeed, but we try. While it's likely that a very complex system will have more bugs than a simple one, this is a broad approximation and not the sort of thing you can use to meaningfully measure productivity. Since the software developers and the software testers are all professionals who strive to produce a good product, we decided to comply in the laziest way possible. Everybody knew the estimated numbers of bugs from planning, so it was easy enough for the testers to see if they were going to go above or below that number. If they were finding a lot of bugs, they wouldn't write all of them up and instead would talk to the developers directly. If they weren't finding enough bugs, they'd start nitpicking for the tiniest of things, and if that wasn't enough, the developers might accidentally check in new, easy-to-fix bugs while fixing other bugs. In this way, everyone met their numbers, and management got to pretend they were doing something useful. It was stupid, but sometimes it's easier to comply with a stupid decision than it is to talk sense to the decision maker. The next story is called He Insisted. A few years ago, I was in a job that provided me with a work vehicle and fuel card. I was always pretty busy in this role, so refueling was often and time-consuming in the scheme of things. The fuel card stated clearly on the reverse side, "Signature not required." One day, the guy serving me asked me to sign. I advised him that a signature wasn't required for this card. For some unknown reason, he found it essential to insist. Rather than argue, I signed a quick male reproductive organ, looked up at his dumbfounded expression with a smirk, and walked out. This then became my go-to scribe when asked to sign rather than waste my time explaining it wasn't required. I don't know if our finance department ever saw it, but I always hope someone with a sense of humor spotted it. Oh, and I'm a female. The last story is called Bad PR. Many years ago, when I was driving cabs, the company supplied shirts and had guidelines that the pants had to be navy blue or black, shorts or long pants or skirts. All good so far. Except that one driver of my acquaintance wanted to wear cargo pants. One of the road supervisors saw him and said he had to wear what was in the handbook. The driver said they were black pants. What more did he want? Apparently, cargo pants were too long to be shorts and too short to be trousers, so he had to change them. If he didn't, he'd be taken off the road until he complied. Fine, said the driver. On his next shift, he presented wearing a black knee-length skirt with the cargo pants underneath. Predictably, management hit the roof. What did he think he was playing? Well, he said the handbook did not specify that skirts were only for women to be wearing. After all, if women could wear trousers, men could wear skirts. They looked at the handbook. It did indeed fail to specify which gender was to wear what. But then they pointed at the cargo pants. What was that about? They wanted to know. Oh, he said, that's my underwear. There's no specification anywhere in there about what kind of underwear I can wear under a skirt. Now, I'd like to say they caved in and let him wear the cargos. In an ideal world, that would have happened. But he did get to drive like that for about 6 months while they tried to figure out a way to stop him from doing it without actually going to the trouble of printing up another employee handbook. He even made it into the papers. Eventually, they bit the bullet and had the employee handbook reprinted in its entirety at company expense. The relevant section now specifies that men can only wear pants that are either trousers or shorts and not cargo pants. On the day they handed him the freshly printed handbook and told him to take that skirt off, he handed in his resignation, quit cab driving and got a job doing something else. He had been intending to pull the pin for a while, but he held on long enough to force them to follow through. It was not a good time, PR-wise, for that company. Thanks for watching the video. If you had fun watching the video, please subscribe to the channel for more content. And please let me know what you think about the video in the comment section below. Have a great day. Bye bye.